All right, so we're here again. Podcast number 3. Talk me into it again. One more time, Sam. You got to keep doing this one more time. So podcast number 3, we're talking about how does a broker keep clients for decades? How did you, Sam, keep your clients that you've had for 20 plus years, now 24, 25 years into the industry? How have you been able to keep your clients for decades in this business? Again, I've got 6 things that when Maninder asked me to think about what I'm doing and what kind of points I want to discuss, I've got 6 things that I've selected to talk about, and here we go. And here's the story. So I was driving home from the mountains, Banff, on a few weekends ago, and I had a client of mine who an employee of a very large client of mine in the construction business. He, outside of being working at as a very large contractor, this employee has just a very little equipment business that he rents out equipment on. And so it was a Saturday or a Sunday. I was driving home from the mountains, and he calls me. It's about a $2,000 policy. Calls me on that drive coming in and says, "Hey, Sam, I think we got a problem. I don't think I paid for my insurance. It might have gotten canceled. Is there anything you could do?" I said, "No problems. I'll look into it the first thing Monday morning, and I'll get back to you." And then he says, just before I hung up the phone, he says, "You know what, Sam?" He says, "Do you know why you're the big dog over there?" And I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because you always pick up your phone. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what you're doing, you always pick up the phone." And so Monday morning, came into the office, looked into his problem, and then I called him back probably by 9 o'clock that morning, had the solution fixed, everything was fixed, and he was a happy guy. So, being a producer and a business owner and a president and everything there is to do in the insurance business, now that I'm an owner of a business, because you do wear all hats, you got to pick up the phone. One of the biggest successes I find that I've been able to utilize to keep my clients and so that they understand that this is a service industry, that I understand that this is a service industry, and the best way to keep them is just by picking up the phone when they call you. Because, if they're calling me, there's actually a reason. It's not that you're calling me just to say, "Hey, how are you? What's going on? You want to talk?" No, they got better things to do than to just call and talk to me and just say, "Hey, what's going on?" If they're calling for a reason. They're calling because they need my help, and they're calling because they need something. And you know what? I'm here to do it. That's what they pay me to do. I'm here to be that one that picks up the phone and is there for them. So that's number 1. Number 2, I think one of the most important things is, and what I'm gonna talk about right now doesn't necessarily have to do with just insurance sales. I think this point is a good unilateral point to utilize in any sales position, is that I think one of the things that I think my clients like about dealing with me is the fact that I don't just speak to them 90 days before renewal, come in, sit down, get their renewal information, go out, give them their insurance renewal, collect a check, and then, hey, thank you very much. Throughout the year, there's multiple touch points that I get involved with my clients when it comes to Christmas time, when it comes to New Year's, when it comes to Easter, when it comes to their birthdays, when it comes to just calling them up out of the blue on a Wednesday afternoon, even though when I say they're calling me, they're not calling me just to talk. There's times when I just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, how are you? How's your family? How are things? What's going on?" Right? If you treat your clients as if they're human beings and not just somebody that you collect a check from every year, then it takes the client purchasing relationship and changes it from being a supplier to actually being somebody that cares. And again, Wilson Beck, one of our, I think prominent mottos that attracted me to Wilson Beck was, "We care, we help." And again, when you build those relationships and you build those times, and you always get that reply. I've got one of my roofing contractors that every year, bang on the morning of his birthday, I always send him a text message, and he's been saying, and I've had him for almost 20 plus years. He says to me, Sam, he says, without fail, every single year, I can always gauge to the minute when I'm going to get a text message from you, always being out there, being generous, being so generous, and just wishing me a happy birthday, and I so appreciate it. Or when it comes to Christmas time or New Year's or Easter, I do the same thing, and he always replies, without fail, Sam, I will always expect something from you, a text or something. And he says, without fail, and I really honestly appreciate every time you do that. So again, it just eliminates just that whole point of where it's just about reaching out to somebody only when you need something from them or when you want some money from them, where it actually makes it where you actually care about them as human beings and not just about being a client. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is I think one of the main things that owners of businesses want is they need suppliers, or I always said, being an insurance broker, I always wanted to be known as being their inner circle. So I wanting to be known as a resource of a person that's there as their lawyer, there as their accountant, there as their inner circle of people that they need honesty from, that they need transparency from. They don't want me to just tell them what they want to hear. They actually care what I have to say about what I'm doing with the assets and the operations of their business. So transparency and honesty. It's really an interesting thing, because a lot of people are afraid to be honest with their clients. They're afraid of, I call it yes man. That they always feel like you need to be, that you need to agree with the owner to be able for them to appreciate you or to like you. Whereas I wouldn't say that I've been contrary to that, but I would say that I've lived my last 25-year career in the insurance industry in understanding that my clients always want the truth and honesty from me. They want me to be transparent with them, regardless of whether it's the same as what they think or not, but they want me to be transparent and honest with them, because when it comes to insurance, I know what I'm doing. When it comes to being a contractor or owning a hotel or owning a restaurant or whatever, that's their business. They know what they're doing and they know it really well. Well, you know what? I know what I'm doing and I know what I do really well. So they want my honesty and they want my transparency about being that trusted confidant to them about their insurance needs and things like that. So I remember, we were on a golf course. The client was driving the golf cart. I was sitting in the passenger seat. Phone goes off. He starts talking about a car accident that one of his staff had, and they talked about it, and they whether or not he had been the one that had rear-ended somebody, or if the rear-ending happened to their company unit. And he gets off the phone, and he was just gonna kind of leave it alone. Like, I'm sitting right next to him, and he, rather than say, "Hey Sam, we had an accident, and our client, our unit had rear-ended them, and there wasn't much damage, but we're just gonna leave it alone," because as we know in the insurance industry, anytime you rear-end somebody, there's an opportunity of bodily injury. So when I said, well, hey, I would really want to get the information from that, because I want to notify your insurance company, just because of the situation where you had rear-ended somebody, even though there wasn't any physical damage and there wasn't any damage to the vehicle, it is something that could come back to bite you when it comes to any kind of a neck injury or kind of a bodily injury situation. And I had, made it very clear to him that I was going to be making this claim or notifying his insurance company of this incident. And he was very taken back from it. He was very, kind of like, oh my God, my insurance rates are going to go up. What are you going to do? And things like that. But I knew that it was incumbent upon me as a professional being in the insurance industry that I had to notify the insurance company to protect him and his company's business. So again, honesty, transparency is key to maintaining a ongoing client retention. So that's number 3. Number 4, important thing I believe to to maintaining a long-term client relationship, keeping your clients for decades, is as an insurance broker, we can all go out there and sell an insurance policy. That's the easy part. The tough part is making sure that when a claim happens, our clients actually get paid. Again, the rubber hits the road. When you sell the insurance policy, it's all glory. But then all of a sudden, when something really bad happens, paying the claim is probably the most important thing, and also the process of how that claim goes. Story. One of my long-term contractors, mine, yellow contractor in Calgary, been with me for 25 years. And they had a large claim up in northern Alberta. They hit a water sewer line, and to say the least, it was a really terrible mess. Probably one of the largest claims that I've been a part of when it came to yellow iron contractor hitting a sewer line. Large, it was about $3+ million. And again, because it was right next to the Saskatchewan River, it was right there. It was super close. There could have been a lot more environmental damage, but the contractor, as soon as it happened, went and started doing the appropriate remediation to clean it up and doing their due diligence to do what they needed to do. But throughout that process, it was a very long an arduous process to get that claim paid. But in the end of the whole project, in the end of the whole thing, I had that contractor come up to me and say, Sam, he says, thank you. He says, one of the largest claims this company, 100+ year company, has ever been a part of. And he said, you absolutely were there for me 100% of the time. And in the end, our company got paid back every single dollar that we were entitled to throughout this, at the end of this claim. And for that, I will forever be indebted to you. And I appreciated that comment so much, because it really validated the importance of what I do every day and the importance of making sure that we sell the right coverage. It's not about the cheapest price. It's not about the cheapest policy. It's about selling a proper policy for market rates with the best coverage possible. Because when they call you and they need you to step up and do what you say you're going to do, it's one of the most important things. And forever and a day, I will always remember, and I will always, every time I approach a client or a prospect or anything, it's always about selling the best of class insurance policies, the best product out there for what the market conditions pricing is. So that's number 4. Number 5, we're talking about over-promising, under-delivering. It's so easy to do, to sit there and talk about you and your company and how great you are and everything that you do. And, we turn around certificates quickly, and, you can say all that, but then all of a sudden when you sell the policy to them, you actually have to deliver on all the promises that were made. Again, we talked about paying the claims, but it's the ongoing servicing of making sure that the client, the promises that you made to the client, turnaround of paper, making sure that they're getting their policies appropriately and time-wise, making sure that the payments come out appropriately, making sure that you have, somebody that picks up the phone every time they call, whether it be in the office or out of the office. All of those service guarantees, I call them, that we make as either producers and or on behalf of our company or on behalf of of all of our account managers or our claims advocacy people or our accounting on discrepancies and making sure we get money back to them in the appropriate time. All of those service promises that we make to them have to be performed, because it's easy to overpromise. And the problem is, if you underperform in those tasks, it blows everything to do with what you do and how you do it out the window. And again, the whole point of keeping clients, or how we're able to keep clients for decades, is not overpromising and underdelivering. Okay, so that was number 5. Now, number 6 is a little bit more unique to me, I guess. And again, any of my clients that are hearing me talk right now are going to actually have a little smirk on their face, because they're going to say, yeah, that makes sense. Born and raised in Calgary, so I think I know a lot of people for all the different businesses that I've been in, all the different industries that I've been a part of, all the different clients that I've had, and meeting their friends, their family, meeting everybody to do with them. So I've got a very broad range of people in my life, or people that I've met throughout my life, working and non-working career. Is that again, I've always been known as being the guy that knows a guy. So, it's again, outside of selling them the insurance policy, and outside of them, making sure we pay their claims, and outside of making sure that we turn around certificates appropriately, and we get the invoicing to them appropriately, everything to do with business. I often get phone calls from my clients about asking me about everything else but insurance. Whereas, they're going to buy a new car, I know somebody that can help them out. If they want to go buy their daughter a sweet 16 present, I know somebody that can help them out. If they want to go and they need help on buying a Chesterfield or a sofa chair or whatever, I know somebody in their furniture business or whatever. It's always being that resource. And I use that word specifically, resource, because it's always nice to be known as being a resource. Even though it's about helping them get something, or helping them facilitate something in their own personal life, it's that phone call that comes to me outside of business, which again makes me feel good, because they look at me outside of just being an insurance guy, that I'm a confidant, I'm somebody in their life that they can call and get directed to something, to get something, to help them through a tough spot that they want to buy something, or help them through that they need a good name of a great lawyer, or they have an accounting situation that I can't help them with, but I know somebody that can help them with it. Or it's just about being a resource. And again, I love the fact that I'm a resource within the insurance industry, within them calling me about everything to do with insurance in their business. But it's also nice to know that outside of their business and outside of that, they call me about just wanting help to get something. And I love being known as being the guy that knows a guy to help them buy something. So again, the word resource, talk about all these last 6 things that we just talked about. The most important thing on any insurance brokerage is retention, policy client retention. So the last 6 things that we just talked about on client retention is probably, outside of learning to sell the policy, the next most important thing is to actually keep the client. Keep the clients that you get, and it will make your life in the insurance industry that much better and easier, because these clients become friends who then all of a sudden, because they're your friends, they recommend you to everybody out there. And it becomes just where all of a sudden you become a resource, you become an expert matter industry person, which I could comfortably say and hopefully say that I've become a subject matter resource, both on insurance and also just having that guy that knows a guy. Anyways, end of podcast number 3. Thanks, Maninder. I thought it was a great topic to talk about. And again, all of the stuff I just talked about is special thanks from me to all of my clients that have been so loyal and so dedicated and so amazing that I've been able to talk about these stories only because of you. And without you, myself, Wilson Beck, Alberta, would be much different business. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for listening again. Hopefully I didn't, hopefully I made something where I connected with one person about one topic, about something I just talked about. Hopefully it made a difference in your career, hopefully in your personal life, whatever. But thank you.